Everything you want in life begins in one place, your mind. Your mind is either your greatest weapon or your heaviest chain. If you can train it with focus, discipline, and belief, there is nothing you cannot achieve. But if you leave it untrained, filled with doubt and distraction, it will sabotage every dream you chase. The difference between the people who achieve the impossible and those who give up halfway is the strength of their mind. Your thoughts are not idle. They are not harmless ripples drifting through the air. They are seeds, each one carrying within it the power to grow into habits, decisions, and ultimately the entire direction of your life. A man is not what he wishes he could be. He is not what he pretends to be. He is what he thinks about most of the time. For thought is the blueprint, and reality merely the construction. Every invention that reshaped civilization began as an invisible thought. Every empire was first constructed in the mind of its leader before it was built in stone. Every failure, too, was born in thought long before it was lived in reality. The man who tells himself he cannot. The man who convinces himself he is defeated, and the man who believes deeply and without apology that he can, finds that belief pulling him upward when circumstances try to drag him down. Why is this so? Because the mind is not passive clay. It is an architect, drawing the designs of our future. It listens carefully to what we feed it, our fears, our hopes, our doubts, our certainties, and then it begins to build accordingly. Tell yourself that the world is hostile and unfair, and your mind will find evidence to confirm it. Tell yourself that opportunity surrounds you, and your mind will begin to uncover doors that others walk past without noticing. We do not see the world as it is. We see it as we are. This is why two men standing side by side in the same conditions can live entirely different lives. One sees defeat, where the other sees possibility. One sees an obstacle, the other a stepping stone. The circumstances are the same. The difference is not in the world, it is in the mind interpreting it. The mind left untrained is like a wild horse, strong, fast, powerful, yet reckless. It bolts at shadows, it tires itself chasing distractions, it refuses to obey when the rider needs it most. But a trained mind, like a trained horse, carries its rider further than he ever dreamed of going. It does not panic at every setback. It does not wander down every path. It stays fixed on the road ahead, moving with strength and certainty toward its destination. If your life, in all its victories and defeats, in all its joys and struggles, is shaped by the contents of your mind, what are you feeding it? What kind of thoughts are you rehearsing every day? For as surely as the farmer who plants weeds cannot expect a harvest of wheat, the man who fills his mind with fear, envy, or doubt cannot expect a harvest of success, peace, and prosperity. This is why the greatest journey you will ever undertake is not across oceans or through cities, but inward, into the very chambers of your own mind. Master that territory, and the external world bends in your favor. Ignore it, and life will seem like an endless chain of accidents, failures, and wasted years. Your thoughts are not just private musings, they are the foundation of your destiny. To train the mind is to train the future. To leave it untrained is to leave your future in the hands of chance, and chance, as history has proven, is a cruel master. How to train your mind for success and discipline. The mind is like a muscle. Left unused, it softens, weakens, and loses its sharpness. But trained with discipline, it becomes strong, sharp, and obedient to the commands of your will. Success is not born of chance. It is the child of discipline. And discipline begins in the silent arena of the mind, long before it is visible in the actions of a man or woman. Who controls your thinking? Is it you, or the impulses, moods, and whims that drift through like an untamed wind? Most people live their days at the mercy of passing thoughts. If the morning feels heavy, their entire day feels heavy. If fear whispers, they obey. If doubt appears, they retreat. But the individual who decides firmly and deliberately to govern his own mind begins to live differently. He is no longer a servant of thought. He becomes its master. How does one begin this training? It begins with awareness. You must catch your thoughts in the act. Just as a coach watches an athlete's movements and corrects them, so must you watch your mind. When it drifts to worry, bring it back. When it lingers on resentment, redirect it. When it tempts you with idleness, remind it of your vision. Each correction, though small, builds strength. The habit of awareness transforms the chaotic stream of thought into a directed river of power. The second step is clarity. A mind without a clear aim cannot be disciplined. It is like trying to discipline an army without a mission. The soldiers may be strong, but their energy is wasted in confusion. So it is with your thoughts. Decide what you want. Define your goals. Name the qualities you will need to achieve them. Patience, endurance, courage, and then train your mind to practice those qualities daily. Discipline also requires repetition. Just as a pianist must practice scales until the fingers obey without hesitation, you must rehearse disciplined thought until it becomes second nature. Set aside time each day, quiet, deliberate time, to instruct your mind. Picture the person you intend to become. Speak to yourself words of strength, not weakness. Review your progress. Correct your errors. This is not idle dreaming. It is the training ground of success. But let us not mistake discipline for harshness. True discipline is not a whip. It is not cruelty toward yourself. It is respect. Respect for your own potential. Respect for the future you are building. The soldier does not train because he hates his body. He trains because he honors the duty before him. In the same way, you do not discipline your mind because you despise it. You discipline it because you honor the life it can help you create. Once the mind is disciplined, actions follow with far less struggle. The man who has trained his thoughts to stay the course does not battle with himself at every step. He has already won the battle in the arena of thought. His actions are merely the natural outpouring of a mind that knows its direction and refuses to wander. A disciplined mind does not ask, "Can I?" It asks, "How will I?" It does not dwell on obstacles. It searches for solutions. It does not crumble at the first sign of resistance. It strengthens with every challenge. And because of this, the disciplined mind becomes the foundation of every lasting success. So begin here. Watch your thoughts. Direct them. Repeat them. Honor them. This is the training. And like all training, it feels difficult at first, but in time, it builds a strength that no circumstance, no person, no obstacle can break. The power of focus and visualization in achieving goals. A beam of light, when spread wide, gives only a soft glow. But when concentrated through a lens, it becomes powerful enough to cut through steel. The human mind is much the same. Unfocused, it drifts, dazzled by countless distractions. But focused, truly focused, it possesses a force that can move mountains. Success belongs not to the busiest, but to the most focused. Consider the farmer who scatters his seed carelessly across barren ground. The harvest will be thin, if it comes at all. But the farmer who plants deliberately, row upon row, and tends his field with patience and attention, reaps in abundance. Focus is the difference. The soil of life responds not to scattered energy, but to concentrated effort. Now, focus alone is powerful, but combined with visualization, it becomes unstoppable. Visualization is the practice of seeing in your mind the result you intend to create until it becomes so vivid, so clear, that it begins to feel inevitable. Great athletes, inventors, and leaders across history have used this power. Long before the stadium cheers or the invention takes shape, they saw it clearly, repeatedly, in the theater of their own mind. Why does this matter? Because the mind cannot distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. When you picture yourself acting with confidence, achieving your goal, or overcoming obstacles, your subconscious begins to prepare your body and your habits for that reality. You begin to move, to think, to behave as though success were already within reach. And in time, it becomes exactly that. Visualization is not idle daydreaming. It is not lying back and wishing. It is rehearsal. Just as a musician rehearses his notes before the concert, the successful man rehearses his future in his mind before it arrives. He sees himself speaking with clarity, working with persistence, finishing what he starts. By the time the moment comes, he has lived it 100 times already in thought. Focus and visualization also serve as shields against discouragement. The road to any worthy goal is long, often filled with setbacks. Without focus, the traveler strays at the first detour. Without vision, he forgets why he began. But the man who holds before his mind a clear picture of where he is going does not quit. He can endure the dry seasons because he has already seen the harvest. He can withstand the storm because he has already seen the sunlight that follows. How can you apply this power? Begin each day with clarity. Write down your goal, not vaguely, but specifically. Then close your eyes and see it. See yourself in possession of it. See the joy, the relief, the pride of its completion. Let that picture be the compass of your effort. When distractions pull at you, return to the vision. When fatigue whispers, return to the vision. When doubt mocks you, return to the vision. A mind without focus is like a traveler without a map, busy, moving, but lost. But a mind with focus and visualization is like a ship with a compass and a destination. It may face storms, but it will not drift endlessly. It will arrive. Train your mind to focus on what you want, and then visualize it until your entire being believes it is possible. Do this, and you will discover that success was never a matter of chance. It was always a matter of direction. How to replace negative thinking with empowering beliefs. Every man and woman carries within them a quiet voice that shapes their destiny. For some, that voice whispers encouragement. You can, you will, keep going. For others, it murmurs doubt. You're not enough. It's too late. You'll fail. The difference between those who rise and those who remain stuck is not the weight of the world upon their shoulders. It is the voice they choose to listen to. Negative thinking is a thief. It robs the present of its power and the future of its promise. Left unchecked, it convinces a person that effort is useless, that obstacles are permanent, that dreams are foolish. Every negative thought is nothing more than a suggestion, not a command, not a fact, merely a passing shadow. Shadows vanish when light appears, and so do destructive beliefs when they are replaced by empowering ones. But how do we begin this replacement? First, by awareness. You cannot change what you do not recognize. When the thought arises, I can't do this, I'll never succeed, others are better, stop it in its tracks. Name it for what it is, an untrained habit of the mind. It is not you. It is merely a pattern repeated so often that it feels familiar. Second, challenge it. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me or hurting me? Does it bring strength or weakness? Is it truth or assumption? The mind, once questioned, reveals how flimsy most negative beliefs truly are. They are built not on evidence, but on fear, and fear, when confronted, begins to dissolve. Third, replace it. You cannot simply sweep away weeds. You must plant flowers in their place. Each time a thought of limitation appears, answer it with one of possibility. Say to yourself, I am learning, I am capable, I have done hard things before, and I will do them again. At first it may feel forced, as if you are rehearsing lines from a play, but repetition turns rehearsal into habit, and habit turns into truth. History is filled with men and women who were told, it cannot be done. Yet because they refused to accept that belief, they proved otherwise. The Wright brothers were told man was not meant to fly. Edison was told he had failed thousands of times. Each chose to replace the voice of doubt with the voice of determination. And because they did, humanity itself was lifted higher. There is a law at work here. What you continually tell yourself, you eventually believe. And what you believe, you eventually become. The man who believes he is weak begins to act weak. The woman who believes she is strong begins to act strong. Belief shapes behavior, and behavior shapes destiny. So let your belief serve you, not sabotage you. Guard your inner speech as carefully as a king guards his crown. Replace the whispers of defeat with declarations of strength. Tell your mind, firmly and repeatedly, what you expect of it. With time, it will obey. Your mind is not your enemy, it is your servant. Train it to speak words of courage, and it will carry you through storms. Train it to dwell on strength, and you will find yourself stronger. Train it to see possibility, and doors will open where once you saw only walls. Negative thoughts are not chains unless you choose to wear them. Replace them, and you replace the very foundation of your future. Daily practices to strengthen mental resilience. Greatness is not achieved in a single burst of inspiration. It is built slowly, quietly, one day at a time. Just as muscles grow stronger with consistent exercise, so too does the mind grow resilient through repeated practice. Mental strength is not a gift bestowed upon the few. It is a discipline available to anyone willing to train daily. So, what are the practices that turn an ordinary mind into a fortress of resilience? First, begin each day with direction. Before the world's demands press upon you, take a few quiet moments to decide how you will meet the hours ahead. Write down 1 or 2 clear intentions. They need not be grand. Today, I will speak kindly. Today I will complete my work with focus. These small declarations act as anchors. When the winds of distraction blow, you will not drift aimlessly. Second, practice gratitude. A grateful heart is a resilient heart, because gratitude transforms obstacles into lessons and setbacks into stepping stones. Each evening, reflect on 3 things, no matter how small, that you are thankful for. This habit trains your mind to look for light, even in dark places, and the one who can find light in the shadows cannot be defeated. Third, strengthen the mind through discipline. Choose one small action each day that requires self-control. Rise at the same hour. Complete a task without delay. Take a walk instead of sitting idle. Each act of discipline, though small, builds inner steel. When larger challenges come, you will already have the strength to endure because you trained yourself in the little things. Fourth, guard your input. Just as the body weakens on a diet of poor food, the mind weakens on a diet of trivial or destructive thoughts. Choose carefully what you read, what you hear, and the company you keep. Surround yourself with ideas that lift you higher and people who remind you of your potential. A resilient mind cannot grow in soil poisoned by negativity. Fifth, embrace challenge rather than avoid it. Growth never comes from comfort. When you step into difficulty willingly, by learning a new skill, facing a fear, or tackling a hard problem, you stretch your capacity. And each time you succeed, no matter how small the victory, you teach yourself, I am capable of more than I thought. Finally, end your day with reflection. Ask yourself, where did I remain steady? Where did I falter? Do not condemn yourself, but learn. The man who reflects nightly lives with twice the wisdom, for he harvests not only the lessons of the day, but also the strength to begin anew tomorrow. Remember, storms will come. Life will test you, sometimes without warning. But if you have trained your mind daily, if you have built habits of gratitude, discipline, focus, and reflection, you will not be shaken. You will stand firm. And while others bend and break, you will rise unbroken, ready to continue the journey. Why mastering your mind is the first step to mastering life. Every achievement you admire in the world, every invention, every work of art, every empire of industry began not with hands or tools, but with thought. The world you see around you is nothing more than a reflection of minds disciplined, directed, and determined. Before a man masters wealth, relationships, or circumstances, he must first master himself. And the battlefield of self-mastery lies within the mind. Why is this so? Because the mind is the command center of your existence. Your thoughts dictate your actions shape your habits carve your destiny. A man who cannot control his mind is like a ship without a rudder. He may drift, he may even move with great speed, but he will never arrive at the harbor of his choosing. He will always be at the mercy of the wind and tide. To master your mind is to seize the helm. It means refusing to be ruled by fear, doubt, anger, or distraction. It means directing your mental energy toward what serves your highest goals, rather than scattering it on what weakens you. The man who has mastered his mind can walk into difficulty with calm because he does not allow circumstance to dictate his spirit. This mastery is not the same as repression. It is not denying feelings or pretending challenges do not exist. It is a higher form of control, the power to choose your response. When insulted, you may choose dignity instead of retaliation. When afraid, you may choose courage instead of retreat. When weary, you may choose persistence instead of surrender. This is mastery, the ability to govern your mind as a wise king governs a kingdom. Once you gain even a measure of this mastery, life itself begins to shift. Opportunities appear where before there seemed only barriers. Relationships improve because you approach others not as a victim of moods, but as a source of strength. Work becomes more fruitful because focus replaces distraction. And slowly, you realize, the outer world is only a reflection of the order or disorder within your inner world. No man can control the winds, but every man can set his sails. No one chooses the storms of life, but everyone can choose how to navigate them. The difference between those who are broken by hardship and those who rise above it is not luck nor chance, but the mastery of mind. When you master your mind, life ceases to feel like a battle. It becomes instead a journey you are equipped to enjoy. Obstacles no longer terrify you, they instruct you. Setbacks no longer paralyze you, they prepare you. Every challenge becomes a teacher, every failure a stepping stone, every success a confirmation that you are indeed the captain of your own fate. The world does not yield to those who try to master it first. It yields to those who master themselves. When you take command of your thoughts, you take command of your destiny. To master your mind is not merely the first step toward mastering life, it is the step upon which all others depend. Master your mind and life itself bends to your direction. Fail to master it, and you remain a servant to chance, to fear, and to the opinions of others. The choice is always before you. Live as a prisoner of wandering thoughts, or as the architect of your destiny. Remember this: conquer the world within, and no world without can ever defeat you.